Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 8. Richard, you ready?
Let's do it.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
All right, before we get started, Richard, tell me how we did last week.
If we take out Keenan Allen, who missed the second half of the game last week, and Metcalf and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who both left in the first quarter, we hit on 18 of the remaining 27 receivers, which is solid. Predicting the top 30 wide receivers on any given week is very difficult because there are so many receivers and because usage is so sporadic. But we've been good historically, and this was a solid week, 18 of 27, and we hope to better that in week 8.
All right, so for everybody who pays attention to our booms, you didn't get one there. All right, before we get started on this week's rankings, let me just tell you what you should expect. Richard's going to give his rankings, and I'm going to use the stat machine to see if you agree or disagree with each of his rankings, but also they should be able to help you with your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
Okay, at number 1, we're going to stick with Jamar Chase, who will be at Cleveland. Jamar Chase has been on fire. Joe Burrow's been on fire. I think the trend continues. At number 2, Justin Jefferson, home against Arizona. Justin Jefferson's also getting high. I think he's going to have another big week and what could potentially be a shootout. And number 3, Cooper Kupp, home against San Francisco. We love Cooper Kupp. We know he gets used a lot. We know that floor is super high. Stafford has not looked fantastic. The offensive line has looked horrible. The Rams have their issues. And number 4, Tyreek Hill at Detroit. It's a fantastic matchup. What could be the most dynamic receiver in the NFL. I love what Tyreek Hill does week in and week out. The question is Tua and his health. And number 5, Stephon Diggs, home against Green Bay. Diggs, number 1 receiver for the number 1 quarterback. And number 6, Devontae Adams at New Orleans. Devontae Adams, week after week, should be doing better. He is a stud. He is the number 1 guy on a decent offense. Derek Carr, a little inconsistent. And again, Josh McDaniels he loves giving the ball to Josh Jacobs. And number 7, DeAndre Hopkins at Minnesota. Yes, I'm ranking Hopkins this high because he was a target monster in his return in week 7. I don't see why that trend would change. He gets open. He gets into space. Kyler Murray sees him immediately. They definitely have a connection and chemistry there. And number 8, A.J. Brown, home against Pittsburgh. A.J. Brown, again, Jalen Hurts might not pass for that many yards. He'll have some big games, but other games he won't. But he does throw the ball to A.J. Brown plenty. And A.J. Brown's a stud. And number 9, Mike Evans, home against Baltimore. Mike Evans could have had a huge week 7 and dropped a long touchdown pass. We've seen it a million times. They keep playing it over and over. I think they'll rebound. I think both Brady and Evans will rebound. And number 10, Jalen Waddle at Detroit. Waddle had a decent game against Pittsburgh, didn't score, but had about 88 yards receiving. Detroit is a great matchup. Expect big plays from both Hill and Waddle.
Hold on. Should we be worried about Waddle? Is he injured?
His shoulder isn't 100%, but it didn't seem to affect him against Pittsburgh. And I think it'll be another week to heal. I think he'll be fine against Detroit. And number 11, Amon-Ra St. Brown, home against Miami. Amon-Ra had a scare. He's in the concussion protocol. Again, it's a Teddy Bridgewater situation where he didn't have a concussion, but they still, out of precaution, kept him out. So doesn't have any symptoms. We expect him to be back week 8. And if he does play, he'll do fine against the Dolphins. And number 12, Deebo Samuel at the LA Rams. Here's a concern. Deebo might have a hamstring issue. He may not play. I don't want to rank him any lower because he is a stud. He played hurt in week 7. Is he going to try to do the same thing through week 8? If he plays, He'll be fine. That's the question mark. So follow that. At 13, T. Higgins at Cleveland. Again, we talked about Joe Burrow and how hot that offense is. T. Higgins is really number 2 here. Boyd caught the big touchdown in week 7, but I expect Higgins to make a couple big plays in week 8. At number 14, CeeDee Lamb, home against Chicago. CeeDee Lamb has been a little bit of a letdown all season, mainly because Prescott was hurt, but Prescott's back now. Still didn't do much in week 7. We'll see. We'll see how he rebounds in week 8, but for now, we'll keep him at 14. At 15, Chris Olave, home against Las Vegas. Is he healthy? Is he going to play? If he does, he'll be fine. He's been great all season. At 16, it's the big play, Gabe Davis, who will be home against Green Bay. All we need is one. All we need is one big play from Gabe Davis, and he's been doing it a lot. At number 17, Chris Godwin, home against Baltimore. Talked about it earlier. I expect Tom Brady to rebound, and I think Godwin's going to have a good game, just like Mike Evans. At number 18, Tyler Lockett, home against the New York Giants. Tyler Lockett's trending up. Why? Geno Smith is doing well, and DK Metcalf may not play week 8. So Tyler Lockett could have a big game. At number 19, Devontae Smith, home against Pittsburgh. Another guy that can make plays, a good receiver, and Jalen Hurts, again, with defenses worried about the run, seems to find guys for the big play. At number 20, Michael Pittman, home against Washington. Pittman did not have a good week 7, mainly because of the issues we've been having with Matt Ryan. But now, Sam Ehlinger, I don't know how much we should trust Sam, but and that's why Pittman's so low. But we'll see. Depending on how Ehlinger does, Pittman's going to rise or fall. At number 21, Amari Cooper, home against Cincinnati. Amari didn't have a good week 7. He's been the number 1 guy there, but their quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, we talked about it. Tough situation, but Cooper's good. And Jacoby likes to throw to him. At number 22, Brandon Ayuk at the LA Rams. Brandon Ayuk rewarded us last week. We had him in our top 30. He was a top 30 receiver. We expect that trend to continue. At number 23, Christian Kirk, home against Denver. Kirk is the number 1 receiver there in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence looks for him often, and he is solid. At number 24, scary Terry McLaurin at Indianapolis. I still don't feel like I can fully trust Taylor Heineke, but he was looking McLaurin's way. McLaurin's a big play receiver, so we'll give him benefit of the doubt. And number 25, Adam Thielen, home against Arizona. Adam Thielen is a possession guy, but there's gonna be some scrap for him when defenses key in on Justin Jefferson, and his sure hands will result in touchdowns, especially against that Cardinals defense. And number 26, welcome back DJ Moore, who will be at Atlanta. Yes, PJ Walker is his quarterback, but I just said it. He's playing Atlanta, who is horrendous on defense. And number 27, Allen Lazard at Buffalo. Allen Lazard still proving to be Aaron Rodgers' favorite target of what's left. So we got to give him a little love. At number 28, Jacoby Myers at the New York Jets. Jacoby Myers, obviously, his value goes up if his quarterback is Zappy, who is more of a pass-happy quarterback. I mean, even though, of course, New England loves to run. But, Mac Jones, I'm not a believer. I think everybody's value takes a hit if Mac Jones is at the helm. If it's Zappy, everybody's value goes, just slightly up. At number 29, Tyler Boyd at Cleveland. Yes, Joe Burrow's hot enough where we can put all 3 top receivers for Cincinnati in our top 30. We did it last week, and guess what? They were all in the top 30. And number 30, Brandon Cooks, home against Tennessee. If I have to take somebody at number 30, I'm going to go with potential big play ability. Brandon Cooks has it. Hopefully he rebounds in week 8. Those are your top 30 receivers for week 8.
All right. I just want to look at some other rankings and compare yours. I don't really see anything with the first top 10. I'll probably say Deebo Samuel. Some other rankings have him 7th. You got him at 12th. What don't you like?
The injury concern. That's I mean, I don't know how updated those other rankings are, but yes, Deebo Samuel may not play. He's got a hamstring issue. Even if he does play, he's going to be hampered, and that's why I lowered him slightly.
All right, Michael Pittman, you got 20. Some other rankings have him high as 13.
Pittman's a great receiver, and he's the number 1 there in Indianapolis, but his quarterback is going to be Sam Ehlinger. Until we see what Ehlinger brings to the table, I'm not ranking him higher.
And some other rankings have Adam Thielen not even in the top 30, and you got him 25. What do you like about Thielen?
I like the fact that, I think Kirk Cousins, I'm high on Kirk Cousins. I had him number 5 for this week. And Thielen's solid. Thielen's solid. He's not spectacular, but he's solid. And I think he'll score.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 8. Don't forget to like and subscribe and take advantage of Richard answering questions in the comments section.
I'm sorry for all of those, teams that have been devastated by injuries, but stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Don't give up. Love your fantasy team.
Those fantasy good fellas.
rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.